"What the hell are you doing to my daughter?" Alexander Hayes roared, his voice slicing through the steam-filled bathroom like a blade. The door slammed against the wall as he charged in, his 6-foot frame towering, suit jacket flapping from the abrupt flight home to Manhattan. Isha Thompson froze mid-motion, her hands gently holding little Lily in the shallow bathwater, mixed with oatmeal and herbs. The girl's skin red from the allergy flare-up that had kept her scratching all night. "Sir, it's just—" Aisha started, her tone steady despite the hammer of her heart. "Shut up!" Alexander cut her off, eyes blazing with fury. He lunged forward, yanking Lily from the tub, water splashing everywhere, soaking his polished shoes. The child yelped in confusion, her tiny arms flailing. "You think you can play mother? You're the damn maid. Black maid at that. Get your hands off her." Aisha's jaw clenched tight, pain shooting through her as she stepped back. But his shoulder rammed into her, sending her crashing against the marble sink. Her elbow cracked on the edge, blood trickling down her arm, warm and sticky. She bit back a gasp, refusing to cry out, her dark eyes locking onto his with unyielding fire. Lily screamed now, clinging to Alexander but reaching for Aisha, tears streaming down her flushed cheeks. "Daddy, no! Aisha's helping. My skin hurts," Lily wailed, her curls dripping. Alexander ignored her, setting the girl down roughly on the towel, wrapping her up with shaking hands. "Helping? This looks like some voodoo nonsense. I hire you to clean, not touch my kid like this." He whirled on Aisha again, finger jabbing the air. "Pack your crap and get out. Now! You're fired." Aisha stood slowly, pressing a hand to her bleeding elbow, blood staining her uniform. Her breath came in sharp bursts, but she held her ground, voice low and cutting. "You don't even know her allergies, do you? Been gone months, chasing deals in Silicon Valley while she cries for someone. Anyone." She grabbed her apron, wiping the blood, her movements deliberate, refusing to rush under his glare. "Out!" he bellowed, shoving her toward the door, his palm slamming her shoulder. She stumbled into the hallway, nearly falling again, but caught herself on the banister. The house staff, the white housekeeper and gardener, peeked from the kitchen, smirks hidden behind hands. Alexander slammed the bathroom door, but Lily's sobs echoed through the walls, piercing his chest like shards. He knelt by his daughter, trying to soothe her, but she pushed him away. "I want Aisha! She's my mama now!" The words hit him like a punch, but rage drowned the doubt. Outside, Aisha straightened her back, walking to the gate with her head high, the city lights of New York blurring through unshed tears. She had come from Brooklyn's tough streets, survived divorce and job loss in the recession, and taken this gig for stability. Now this, humiliated, injured, jobless again. But she wouldn't beg. Not from a man like him, blind to the love she'd poured into his child while he chased billions. Alexander paced the bathroom, water pooling at his feet, Lily's cries unrelenting. He glanced at the herbs floating in the tub. Chamomile, oatmeal, simple remedies his late wife Elizabeth might have used. A flicker of unease crept in, but he shoved it down, dialing the agency for a replacement nanny. "White, experienced, no nonsense," he snapped into the phone. Yet as Lily refused his hug, curling into a ball, he felt the first crack in his armor, the weight of his snap judgment pressing hard. The mansion felt colder, emptier, her absence already a void. Aisha's elbow throbbed, blood seeping through her fingers as she gripped the wound, but she forced her spine straight, refusing to crumble under Alexander's glare. The hallway stretched before her like a gauntlet, the polished wood floors echoing her footsteps, each one a deliberate claim to her dignity. Lily's sobs pierced the air from behind the closed bathroom door. "Aisha, don't go!" But Aisha didn't turn, her heart twisting like a knife in her chest. "You heard me out!" Alexander barked from the threshold, his face flushed red, veins bulging in his neck. He advanced a step, towering over her, but she met his eyes without flinching, her gaze a silent storm of defiance. She wiped the blood on her apron with slow precision, staining the white fabric crimson, a mark of his rash fury. "Fine," she said, voice low and edged like steel. "Chase me out. But remember this, when Lily's fever spikes at midnight, or she wakes screaming from nightmares, who'll be there?" Not you, buried in boardrooms. You'll call for help then, and it'll echo empty. Alexander's fist clenched at his sides, his breath hot and ragged. Don't lecture me in my own house. You're nothing here, just hired help. Black girl from the projects thinking she can mother my blood. Her lips pressed into a thin line, teeth grinding to hold back the surge of rage. She grabbed her coat from the hook by the door, slinging it over her shoulders with one fluid motion, the fabric whispering against her skin. Lily's cries grew louder, muffled but insistent, clawing at Aisha's resolve. The staff watched from the shadows, the housekeeper smirking, the gardener averting his eyes. But Aisha ignored them, her chin lifted high. As she reached the front door, the heavy oak creaking open to the Manhattan night, cool air rushed in, carrying the distant hum of traffic. She paused on the threshold, turning just enough for her words to land like a hammer. Pride blinds you, Mr. Hayes. One day, it'll cost you everything that matters. No plea, no tears, just truth, sharp and unyielding. Alexander slammed his palm against the wall, the impact vibrating through the house. Get lost, and don't come crawling back. But as the door clicked shut behind her, Lily's wails escalated into hysteria, pounding against his ears like accusations. He stormed back to the bathroom, scooping up his daughter, but she thrashed in his arms, small fist pounding his chest. Bring Aisha back. She's my mama. The word mama hit him harder than any deal gone sour, a gut punch that left him breathless. He rocked Lily, murmuring empty comforts, but her body went rigid, refusing his touch. Downstairs, the housekeeper whispered to the gardener. Told you she'd overstep, acting like she owns the place. Their chuckles grated, but Alexander barely heard, his mind replaying Aisha's parting shot, the blood on her arm a vivid stain in his memory. Aisha stepped into the street, the city lights blurring as she hailed a cab to Brooklyn, her old neighborhood, where survival meant grit, not grace. Divorce had stripped her bare years ago, the recession stealing her office job, forcing her into domestic work. But she'd poured her soul into Lily, nights of stories, homemade remedies from her grandmother's recipes, hugs that mended what money couldn't. Now jobless again, elbow pulsing with pain, she clenched her jaw against the ache. No breaking now. She'd rebuild, as always. But Lily's face haunted her, a tiny ghost in the rearview mirror as the cab pulled away. Back in the mansion, Alexander set Lily in her bed, but she curled away, silent sobs shaking her frame. He paced the room, the herbs' scent lingering like a rebuke. For the first time, doubt crept in. Had he just shattered the one stable thing in his daughter's life? The house felt vast, hollow, her absence a gaping wound. Alexander slumped against the bathroom door, Lily's sobs finally tapering into hiccups as exhaustion claimed her. He carried her to bed, tucking the blanket tight, but she turned away, clutching her stuffed bear. Aisha's gift from last Christmas. The room spun with silence now, broken only by his ragged breaths. He stormed downstairs to his study, slamming the door, the crystal decanter clinking as he poured scotch, the burn down his throat doing nothing to quench the fire in his gut. Damn it, he muttered, pacing the Persian rug, footprints wearing a path. Lily's words echoed, "She's my mama!" A slap to his ego. He grabbed the remote, flicking on the security feed, more to distract than investigate. The screen lit up with clips. Aisha reading bedtime stories, her voice soft and melodic, Lily giggling under the covers. Another, Aisha mixing remedies in the kitchen, testing on her own skin first, ensuring safety for the girl. Then a fever night, Lily burning up. Aisha rocking her for hours, singing lullabies from her Brooklyn roots, while Alexander's phone log showed missed calls from the house. His hand froze on the mouse, chest tightening like a vice. What the? He rewound, zooming in. Aisha's gentle hands, the trust in Lily's eyes, the care he'd ignored during his endless trips. Regret slammed him, hot and unrelenting, his knuckles white on the desk. How many nights had she filled the void left by Elizabeth's death? Cancer had stolen his wife 2 years ago, leaving him buried in work to escape the grief, outsourcing parenthood to staff. He rubbed his temples, the scotch glass shattering against the wall in a spray of shards. I pushed her. Blood on her arm. My fault. Lily's refusal to eat dinner replayed in his mind. She'd stared at her plate, whispering Aisha's name like a prayer. Upstairs now, she cried in her sleep, small fists clenched. Alexander climbed the stairs, peeking in, her cheeks tear-streaked, bear-hugged close. He tried to stroke her hair, but she flinched, murmuring, Aisha again. Back in the study, he rifled through drawers, seeking distraction, but pulled out an old envelope instead. Yellowed, addressed in Elizabeth's elegant script. To Alex, if things go wrong. His fingers trembled as he opened it, a single page unfolding. Trust the one who stays. My friend from college. She's more than helpful. No name, just that cryptic line. A mystery planted like a seed in his churning mind. Who? The housekeeper? No. Aisha's face flashed, her college stories shared in passing. Doubt gnawed deeper, regret twisting into a knot. Had he just exiled the one Elizabeth meant? The mansion's halls whispered empty now, staff gossip fading into the night. Alexander stared at the envelope, the words blurring through unshed tears. He grabbed his phone, dialing the agency, but hung up mid-ring. Replacement? No. This mess demanded fixing. But how? The city outside buzzed indifferent. Brooklyn's lights distant beacons. He paced till dawn, the envelope clutched tight, its secret pulling him toward the truth he wasn't ready to face. Lily's soft cries echoed from above, a relentless reminder. His snap judgment had cracked their world, and the pieces demanded mending. Yet as morning light crept in, a whisper of resolve stirred. He couldn't let this stand. The hunt would begin soon, but for now regret burned. Fierce and unforgiving, the envelope's riddle a hook in his soul. I screwed up! Bad! Alexander snarled into the phone, his voice cracking as he paced the study. The envelope from Elizabeth crushed in his fist. Dawn light barely pierced the curtains, but sleep evaded him. Lily's whimpers from upstairs fueling the storm in his chest. He dialed the agency again, demanding Aisha's address, but they stonewalled. Privacy laws. Find it, or I'll sue you bankrupt. He hung up, slamming the device down, shards of regret slicing deeper with each breath. He grabbed his keys, storming to the garage, the Mercedes roaring to life. Manhattan's streets blurred as he sped toward Brooklyn. Traffic be damned. Her words haunted him. One day it'll cost you everything. Each syllable a whip. Lily hadn't eaten breakfast, pushing away oatmeal, her eyes puffy and accusing. Where's Aisha? She'd whispered, gutting him anew. He swerved through lanes, honking at cabs, mind racing to her file. Divorced, ex-office worker hit by recession, now scraping by in domestic gigs. Arriving in her neighborhood, brownstones crammed tight, he parked crooked, drawing stares from locals. He pounded on doors, flashing cash. Aisha Thompson, black woman, mid-30s, works domestic. Seen her? The neighbors scowled, arms crossed. Who the hell are you? Alexander shoved 100. Her boss. Need to find her. Urgent. The man pocketed it, pointing down the block. Apartment 3B, but she's tough. Don't mess with her. He climbed the stairs, paint peeling, heart pounding like a drum. Knocking hard, no answer. He leaned in, ear to the door, voices inside, laughter. He knocked again, louder. The door cracked, Aisha's face appearing, eyes narrowing to slits. You? Here? Get lost. Wait, he started, but she slammed it shut. He jammed his foot in, pain shooting up his leg. Hear me out. Lily, she's falling apart. Won't eat, won't sleep. Cries for you constantly. Aisha yanked the door open, fury blazing. And whose fault is that? You shoved me out like trash. He pushed inside, ignoring her protest, the small apartment hitting him, neat but cramped. Photos of her with kids on the walls. I was wrong, saw the footage. You cared for her when I didn't. Wrong! You drew blood. She jabbed a finger at her bandaged elbow, wincing as she flexed it. Think money fixes that? He paced her tiny living room, spotting a stack of job ads on the table. Desperation in print. Lily needs you. I need to make this right. Neighbors banged on walls, yelling to quiet down. Aisha crossed her arms, breath heaving. You barge in here after humiliating me in front of the staff, calling me black maid like dirt? Guilt punched him, knees buckling as he sank to the couch. I panicked. Elizabeth's death. I buried myself in work, ignored everything. But you were there. She hovered, fists balled. There. I sang her to sleep, treated her rashes with my grandma's recipes. You? A ghost dad chasing billions. He pulled out the envelope, hands shaking. This from my wife. Trust the one who stays. It's you, isn't it? College friend? Aisha snatched it, eyes widening, then hardening. You don't deserve answers. Get out, before I call cops. He stood, blocking the door. Please, come back. For Lily. She shoved him aside, strength surprising. For her, maybe. But you? Earn it. He left, her door slamming, but the seed planted, her hesitation a crack in the armor. Back in the car, he texted Helen, Elizabeth's mother in Boston. Found something. Need your help. Regret fueled him now, the drive home a blur. Lily's face his North Star. But whispers from staff awaited, the housekeeper's smirk hinting at deeper rot. He wouldn't stop until Aisha returned, the envelope's mystery pulling him deeper into the unknown. Back off, creep! Aisha snapped at the shadowy figure lurking near her stoop, her bandaged elbow throbbing as she shoved the door shut behind Alexander's retreating. The Brooklyn night air hit her like a slap, but she shook it off, locking the deadbolt with a click that echoed her resolve. Inside her cramped apartment, walls lined with faded photos of smiling kids she'd nannied over the years, she sank against the counter, breath heaving, fingers tracing the envelope's edges. Elizabeth's words stared back. Trust the one who stays. A lifeline from the grave, stirring memories of college days in Boston, late-night talks about dreams crushed by reality. She tossed it aside, grabbing her phone instead, dialing her neighbor, Ms. Rosa, down the hall. Hey, girl, need help with the twins tonight? Rosa's voice cracked gratefully through the speaker. God, yes, Aisha. You're a saint. Aisha forced a smile, ignoring the ache in her arm, slipping on fresh gloves. On my way. She crossed the hall, entering the chaotic two-bedroom where Rosa's toddlers rampaged, toys scattering like shrapnel. Miss Aisha, the boys squealed, launching at her legs. She scooped them up, one under each arm, spinning them till giggles drowned her turmoil. Bath time, monsters. She filled the tub, adding bubbles, her movements automatic, honed from years surviving domestic trenches. Divorce stripping her savings, recession axing her admin job, forcing her into homes where she mended more than messes. With Lily, it had been different, a real bond, like the daughter she'd never had. Alexander's shove replayed, blood hot in her veins, but she pushed it down, focusing on the twins' soapy heads. Rosa collapsed on the couch, rubbing her temples. That rich jerk fired you? Saw him storm out. Aisha's jaw tightened, scrubbing a toddler's back. Yeah, shoved me too. But Lily, poor kid's caught in his mess. Girl, you're too good, helping everyone while you bleed. Rosa eyed the bandage. Go to ER? Later. Aisha rinsed the boys, toweling them dry with brisk efficiency, her mind flashing to Lily's rashes. Same remedies she'd use here. She dressed the twins in PJs, reading them a story, voice steady despite the storm inside. And the brave lion roared, facing the storm alone. The boys yawned, eyelids drooping. She tucked them in, kissing foreheads, a ritual that soothed her own fractures. Back in her place, she bandaged fresh, wincing at the bruise blooming purple. Phone buzzed. Helen, Elizabeth's mom. Aisha, Alex called. Envelope? It's time he knows. You were her rock in college, the one she trusted with Lily. Aisha's grip tightened on the phone, tears pricking but unshed. He doesn't deserve it. Pushed me like trash. Helen's sigh crackled. For Lily, come back. She needs her mama. You. Aisha paced her tiny kitchen, linoleum cold underfoot, weighing the pull. Strength surged. She'd survived worse. Ex-husband's betrayal, job hunts in a city that chewed up dreamers. Helping Rosa's kids tonight reminded her. She thrived in chaos, turning pain into purpose. Alexander's apology rang hollow, but Lily's face? That cut deep. She'd return, on her terms, envelope in hand, a end to forced truth. As she brewed tea, steam rising like resolve, a knock echoed. Probably Rosa again. But opening the door, surprise hit. A kid from downstairs. Feverish. Mom at work. "Miss Aisha, help?" She pulled him in, grabbing the thermometer, her world a whirlwind of care amid her own wreckage. Strength unbroken, she mixed herbs, humming a lullaby. The envelope on the table, a silent promise of reckoning ahead. "You think a sorry fixes blood on my floor?" Aisha hissed, flinging open her apartment door wider as Alexander barged back in uninvited, his face etched with desperation, envelope clutched like a weapon. Helen's voice still echoed from the phone speaker on the counter. "He's broken, Aisha. For Lily's sake." But Aisha silenced it with a jab, her bandaged arm protesting the motion. Alexander halted mid-step, breath ragged from racing back after her rejection. "I drove off. Couldn't. Lily's crumbling. Saw her this morning, eyes hollow, whispering your name like a lifeline." Aisha's fists balled, nails digging palms. "And you? Waltzing here twice, demanding fixes? You drew first blood, literally." She thrust her elbow forward, bandage stained fresh red from the strain. He winced, stepping closer, but she blocked him with a glare sharp as glass. "Back up. You humiliated me. Black Maid, your words spit like venom. Think I forgot?" Guilt twisted his features, shoulders slumping under the suit. "I was blind, raging. Elizabeth's envelope. It mentions a college friend. You. She trusted you." Aisha snatched the paper from his hand, scanning Elizabeth's script again, chest tightening at the memory. Dorm nights plotting futures, Elizabeth's cancer battle where Aisha held her hand through chemo. Trusted? She begged me to take the job after she passed. "Watch Lily," she said. "Alex is lost in his empire." Alexander's eyes widened, a punch to his gut. "She never told me. I pushed you, injured you. I'm sorry. Deep, gut-wrenching sorry." Aisha's laugh barked bitterly, echoing off peeling walls. "Sorry? Prove it. Not with words, with action." He nodded fast, hands open in surrender. "Anything. Come back. Name your terms." She paced, mind whirling, the twins' laughter from next door a faint reminder of her unbreakable spirit. "First, time with Lily. No more ghost dad. Breakfast, stories, her allergies. You learn them." "Done," he shot back, voice firm. "Second, respect. No slurs, no shoves. I'm not help. I'm family to her." He swallowed hard, nodding. "Agreed. And the staff? That housekeeper's whispers? I heard them. Gone if needed." Aisha halted, eyes locking with his. "Third, truth. This envelope? Dig deeper." Elizabeth hinted at more, a hidden will, something staff buried. His brow furrowed, pulling out his phone. "Helen mentioned videos. We'll call her now." Aisha grabbed her coat, resolve stealing. "Fine, I return. For Lily. But cross me again? I'm gone for good." They stepped out together, tension crackling like a live wire, into the Brooklyn street. In the car, Alexander dialed Helen, speaker on. "Mom, the envelope. What else?" Helen's voice crackled sharply. "Elizabeth left a flash drive, hidden in the study safe. Proof, Aisha's her chosen guardian. But the housekeeper, she knew. Hid it." Aisha's breath caught, fist clenching. "Why?" "Greed," Helen snapped. "She manipulated after the funeral. Find it. Expose her." Alexander's knuckles whitened on the wheel, glancing at Aisha. "We're on it. Together." Aisha met his gaze, nodding curtly. "For Elizabeth. For Lily." The drive to Manhattan hummed with unspoken alliance. The flash drive's promise a shadow looming, pulling them into deeper waters. Back home, Lily's distant laugh from the nanny's watch stirred hope. But the housekeeper's silhouette in the window hinted at storms ahead, secrets ready to unravel. "You sneaky bitch. Think you can waltz back and steal everything?" The housekeeper, Evelyn, snarled from the shadows of the foyer as Aisha and Alexander burst through the front door, her voice dripping venom like acid. Evelyn's eyes narrowed to slits, arms crossed tight over her starched uniform, blocking their path to the study. Aisha halted, pulse spiking, her bandaged elbow pulsing fresh pain from the drive's tension. Alexander shoved past, keys clattering to the floor. "Out of the way, Evelyn. This doesn't concern you." "Doesn't concern me?" Evelyn's laugh cracked sharply, stepping closer, finger jabbing Aisha's chest. "She slithers back after you fire her for good reason, bathing the kid like some witch doctor. Now you're buddy-buddy? I saw the shove, the blood. But she's playing you, sir. Black girl from the hood, eyeing your fortune since Elizabeth croaked." Aisha's teeth ground audibly, stepping forward, voice low and lethal. "Watch your mouth. I cared for Lily while you gossiped and schemed." Evelyn whirled on Alexander. "Sir, she's poison," whispering to Helen, digging up old letters. "Elizabeth trusted me, with the house after the funeral. This one's after the will, the money. I overheard her on the phone, plotting." Alexander's fist clenched, veins bulging. "Enough! We're here for the safe. Helen's orders." Evelyn blocked the study door, a smirk twisting her lips. "Safe? What's she feeding you?" "Lies. I manage everything when you grieved. Bills, staff, even hid that flash drive Elizabeth rambled about in her last days. Delirious nonsense." Aisha's breath caught, eyes flashing. "Hid it? Why?" "Because it's trash," Evelyn spat, advancing on Aisha. "Proves nothing but her delusions. You think you're family? You're hired trash. Black trash at that. Get out before I call security." Alexander grabbed Evelyn's arm, yanking her aside. "You're done spewing hate. Stand down or pack." Evelyn wrenched free, face flushing purple. "You'll regret this. I know secrets. Elizabeth's real will, the one burying your empire if outsiders like her get hold. I've protected you." Aisha lunged for the study, but Evelyn shoved her back, nails raking her good arm, drawing thin lines of blood. "Touch that safe, and I'll ruin you both." Alexander pinned Evelyn against the wall, breath hot on her face. "Threats? You're fired. Now. Get out." Evelyn's eyes blazed defiance, shoving him off. "Fire me? Fine. But the rot's deeper. That drive? Gone. Burned it myself, to save you from her claws." Isha's heart hammered, shoving past to the safe. Dialing the code, Helen texted. "Empty." "She's not bluffing. It's missing." Evelyn bolted for the door, grabbing her coat. "You'll beg me back when the truth bites. She's no saint. Ask about her ex, the scams." Alexander chased, but she slammed the gate, vanishing into Manhattan's rush. He turned to Aisha, face ashen. "She hid it. Why? What's she covering?" Aisha rubbed her scratched arm, blood smearing. "Greed. Power. We dig. Now. Call Helen for backups." They stormed the study, rifling drawers, Evelyn's betrayal a live wire sparking fury. Whispers of deeper deceit hung heavy, pulling them into the hunt. Evelyn's escape a fuse lit for explosion. "Flash drive's gone. Burned?" "That lying snake," Alexander bellowed, slamming the safe door shut, the clang echoing through the study like a gunshot. Papers scattered from the drawers he'd ripped open, Aisha dodging the flurry, her scratched arm stinging as she grabbed his phone. "Call Helen. Now. Backups, clues, anything." Helen's face popped on video call, lined with fury. "Evelyn, that witch." Elizabeth hid duplicates. Check the attic box, labeled college memories. Emails too, her old account. Password, Lilybear, Antido. Aisha nodded sharply, bolting upstairs, Alexander close behind, footsteps thundering on the creaky stairs. Lily peeked from her room, eyes wide. "Aisha, you're back." Aisha scooped her up quickly, hugging fiercely. "Stay with the temp nanny, baby. Daddy and I fixed something big." In the attic, dust choked the air, but Aisha yanked boxes, tearing tape with nails. "Here, college memories." Photos spilled, Elizabeth and Aisha laughing in dorms, arms linked, notes scribbled, "Best friend forever, trust you with my world." Alexander snatched a USB from the bottom, plugging it into his laptop downstairs. Loading, damn slow. Files popped. Videos of Elizabeth, pale from chemo, voice weak but steel. Alex, if I'm gone, Aisha's guardian for Lily. Will's hidden. Evelyn knows but doesn't trust her. She forged docs after my accident. Wait, accident? Aisha's breath hitched, leaning in. Accident. Elizabeth's death. Car crash, right? Forged docs? Alexander's face paled, clicking another file. Emails from Elizabeth to a lawyer. Suspect Evelyn tampered with brakes. Greedy, wants a cut of the estate. Proof in safe. No, Aisha gasped, fist slamming the desk. Murder? For money? They dug deeper. Alexander hacking old accounts. Password cracked in seconds. More emails. Evelyn's threats to Elizabeth. Back off the will changes or else. Bank transfers, Evelyn siphoning small sums, covered as house expenses. Aisha paced, mind whirling. Call the lawyer, now! Alexander dialed, speaker on. Lawyer's voice boomed. Mr. Hayes, Elizabeth's real will names Aisha co-guardian, half estate to charity. Evelyn forged a version cutting her out. Paid off a notary. Crash? Suspicious? Brakes failed on her drive home from chemo. Rage boiled in Alexander's veins, standing abruptly. Proof? Send files. Digital copies incoming, but Evelyn's vanished. Track her phone? Aisha grabbed her own device, dialing contacts from Brooklyn, an old PI friend from a divorce mess. Javier? Track this number. Evelyn Thorpe, white woman, 50s, fled Manhattan an hour ago. Javier's grunt came quickly. On it. Pings to Queen's storage unit. Sketchy. They raced out, Alexander's Mercedes screeching into traffic, Aisha clutching the USB like gold. She burned one. Bet she stashed originals. At the unit, lock picked with Javier's tip, they burst in. Boxes stacked. Evelyn's scent lingering. Cheap perfume cloying. Aisha tore the lids. Shredded papers, but one envelope intact. Real will. Notary stamp. Fake as day. Alexander's phone buzzed. Helen again. Found audio. Elizabeth's last voicemail. Evelyn threatened me. If I die, investigate brakes. Aisha's knees buckled, but she caught herself on a box. She killed her for what? Inheritance slice? Files revealed. Evelyn's debts, gambling addiction, and a siphoning of the estate to cover. Crash report doctored, brakes cut clean. They compiled photos, emails, will, an ironclad chain. Alexander's fist shook. Cops, now! But first confront her. Aisha's eyes hardened. Trap her, lure with fake meat. They texted Evelyn from a burner. Meet at the old warehouse. Payoff for silence. She bit, arriving shadowed, bag clutched. You fools, hand over the drive. Aisha stepped from the dark, voice ice. We have duplicates. Your game's up. Murderer. Evelyn lunged, but Alexander blocked, phone recording. Confess, or we go public. She spat, breaking. Elizabeth cut me out, after years of slaving. Breaks? Easy fix. Deserve my share. Tape snapped off. Evidence locked. They fled before her rage peaked. Cops en route. Back home, Lily safe. They poured over docs, puzzle complete. Evelyn's web of deceit, from forgery to fatal crash. But holes lingered. Accomplice? Deeper ties? The lawyer's warning rang. She's not alone. Check estate ledgers. Ledgers pulled. Another name. Shadowy partner in thefts. The hunt intensified. Truce piling like dominoes. Evelyn's arrest imminent. But the full rot beckoned, pulling them toward revelation's edge. Murder! For a cut of my empire! Alexander roared, hurling the bank ledger across Evelyn's abandoned office. Pages fluttering like accusations as Aisha dodged the chaos, her scratched arm flaring hot. The lawyer's files burned on the screen. Transfers to offshore accounts, Evelyn's name stamped on each, tied to the crash that stole Elizabeth. Aisha slammed her palm on the desk, eyes blazing. Brakes cut, premeditated. She confessed on tape. But why Elizabeth? Debts or deeper? Alexander's phone buzzed. Cops confirming Evelyn's arrest at the warehouse, her screams echoing in the report. I did it for us. Us? He dialed the lawyer back, voice gravel. Spill? Who's her partner? Ledgers show double signatures. Lawyer's tone dropped low. Your old accountant, Victor Klein, fired years ago for embezzlement. Evelyn recruited him post-funeral. They forged the will, siphoned millions disguised as grief counseling fees. Elizabeth caught on during chemo, threatened exposure. Crash? Their silence keeper. Aisha's breath seized, leaning over the laptop, clicking through Elizabeth's hidden journal scans Helen emailed. Entry lepted. Evelyn's eyes, cold when I mentioned changing the will. Victoris is lurking at the gate. The brakes fell off last drive. If I don't make it, Aisha, protect Lily. Alexander's face drained white, collapsing into the chair, hands raking hair. My wife, murdered in our driveway? For cash I barely noticed missing? Aisha paced furiously, piecing it. Timeline. Elizabeth drafts a real will naming me guardian, charity half. Evelyn overhears. Panics. Debts piling from casinos. Recruits Victor, her ex-lover, from staff rumors. They tamper brakes. A crash ruled an accident. Forge will try to cut me out, keep siphoning. Files confirmed. Victor's emails to Evelyn. Brakes done. Clean job. Now the will. Photos from Helen. Evelyn and Victor at a bar. Post-funeral, toasting slyly. Alexander stood abruptly, smashing a vase, shards flying. They killed her. Robbed Lily of her mother. For greed. Aisha grabbed his shoulders, gripping iron. Proof stacks. Tape. Journals. Banks. But the motive is deeper. Elizabeth's charity clause. Millions to Brooklyn kids programs. Evelyn hated it. Wasting on hood rats, she sneered once. His eyes met hers, fire matching. You? That's why she targeted you. Elizabeth's pick, black woman from the streets, embodying the giveaway. Aisha's jaw locked, rage surging. She saw me as a threat, an outsider stealing her house. Murder to keep control. They drove the final nail. Victor's address from the lawyer. Queen's hideout. Racing there, cops in tow. They burst in. Victor cowering, papers burning in the sink. Evelyn ratted, he yelped, hands up. Alexander pinned him to the wall. Confess, now! Victor spilled, voice quaking. She planned it. Breaks, forgery. I hacked banks. Elizabeth knew too much. Confronted Evelyn the day of the crash. You're fired, she said. Evelyn snapped. Tampered car right then. Aisha recorded every word, heart pounding. Motive? Love? Money? Both, Victor gasped. Evelyn was obsessed with the estate, saw it as hers after years of Irving. Me? Cut of the pie? Crash? Panic kill? Cops cuffed him, hauling him out. Back home, Alexander and Aisha stared at the compiled dossier. Murder, theft, betrayal, woven tight. Elizabeth's voice from the video haunted. Protect my girl from inside threats. Aisha's fist clenched. It's all here. Dynamite truth. Alexander nodded grimly. Resolve steel. We end this. Court. Exposure. But Evelyn's last text buzzed in. Jail phone smuggled. You think it's over? Deeper players watch. Chill gripped them. Truth's quake revealing fractures wider. Pulling toward confrontation's brink. Deeper players? I'll crush you first. You murdering hag. Alexander thundered into the phone, slamming it down as Evelyn's jailhouse sneer echoed from the smuggled message, her words a blade twisting in his gut. Aisha grabbed his arm, nails digging in, her scratched skin flaring red. She's baiting. Don't bite alone. We confront her now, with backup. They stormed the precinct, badges flashing from Alexander's connections, bursting into the interrogation room where Evelyn sat cuffed, smirk curling her lips like poison. Well, the tycoon and his pet Maid. Come to gloat? Aisha lunged forward, slamming the dossier on the table, pages slapping metal. Gloat? You sliced Elizabeth's brakes, confessed on tape. For what? Your gambling debts? Evelyn's eyes narrowed to slits, leaning in chains, rattling. Debts? Ha ha! Elizabeth played God, cutting me out after decades of slaving in your marble cage. Charity for street kids, she preached. Like her black buddy here deserved a dime. Alexander's fist crashed down, table jumping. Shut your trap! You killed my wife, robbed my daughter. Evelyn spat, saliva flecking the files. Killed? She drove herself to death. Nosy bitch sniffing my transfers. Victor helped, sure. But you, blind fool, chasing billions while I ran your world. Aisha's breath raged hot, stepping closer. World? You poisoned it. Forged wills, siphoned cash. Elizabeth trusted me, not you. Evelyn surged against the cuffs, face inches from Aisha's. Trusted? A black divorcee from the gutter? She pitied you. I protected the estate from outsiders like you stealing slices. Alexander yanked Aisha back, but Evelyn headbutted the air, missing by a hair. Guards, he bellowed, but the door locked. Click, ominous. Evelyn's laugh barked wild. Too late. Deeper players? My brother, Ian ex-cop, I waiting outside. One call, and you're done. Aisha's heart hammered, spotting the smuggled phone under the table. She's stalling. Grab it. Alexander dove, but Evelyn kicked, boot cracking his knee, pain exploding. He grunted, snatching the device, but she bit his hand, teeth sinking deep, blood welling. You bitch! Aisha charged, yanking Evelyn's hair, pulling her back. Chains strained, Evelyn thrashing like a beast. Confess full. Victor's not the end. Evelyn head-slammed Aisha's forehead, stars bursting in her vision, blood trickling from split skin. Never. Brother's coming. He'll silence you both. Alexander wrestled her down, knee on her back. Guards, now! Doctor pounded from outside, but jammed. Evelyn's sabotage? Aisha staggered up, vision blurring, and grabbed the intercom. Help! Assault! Alarms wailed, feet thundering. Evelyn twisted free, lunging for the window, glass shattering as she smashed it with cuffed wrists, shards slicing her arms. Jump or fight, she snarled, blood dripping. Alexander tackled her, pinning her arms. It's over. Your brother's next. Doors burst open, cops swarming, hauling Evelyn away, kicking. You'll pay. Deeper. Always deeper. Aisha slumped against the wall, head pounding, blood smearing her face. Alexander helped her up, gripping tight. She's cracked, but alive. We need that final proof. Her brother's hideout. They fled the room, cops sealing it, Evelyn's screams fading. But her brother's shadow loomed, danger pulsing like a heartbeat, drawing them toward the ultimate unearthing. Brother's here. You're dead meat. Evelyn shrieked from the cop's grip as they dragged her down the precinct hall, her cuffs clanking, eyes wild with hate. Alexander shoved through the swarm, grabbing Aisha's arm, pulling her from the shattered window's edge, glass crunching underfoot. Blood trickled from her forehead split, mixing with sweat, but she shook him off, breath ragged. Her brother, ex-cop, he's the deeper player. Hunt him, now! Cops barked orders, sealing the room, but Alexander flashed his phone. Evelyn's smuggled texts. Bro at Old Dock Warehouse, finish them. He dialed Javier, the PI, voice clipped. Track her brother, Carl Thorpe, ex-NYPD, dirty record, warehouse in Queens Docks. Javier's reply snapped back. On it, ping's there now, armed from cams. Go hot. They bolted to the car, Alexander gunning the engine, tires screeching out of the lot. Aisha clutched the dossier, pages fluttering in the rush. Final proof. His place holds the brakes tool, maybe recordings. Elizabeth's journal mentioned Carl fixed cars. Sirens wailed distant, but they arrived first. Warehouse looming dark, rusted doors ajar. Alexander killed the lights creeping in, Aisha close, heart thumping like war drums. Inside, shadows danced from a single bulb. Carl, a burly ex-cop, scar-faced, rifling crates, muttering. Sis screwed up. Burn it all, Aisha whispered fiercely. Flank him. They split. Alexander circling left, Aisha right. Footsteps silent on concrete. Carl spun, gun drawn. Who's there? Evelyn sent you. Alexander charged from the shadows, tackling low, gun skittering across the floor. You cut the brakes! Killed my wife! Carl's fist cracked Alexander's jaw, blood spraying. She nosed in our take. Deserved it. Aisha dove for the gun, but Carl kicked. Boots slamming her ribs, air exploding from her lungs. She gasped, rolling, pain lancing sharply. Proof. Where? Carl laughed, pinning Alexander, knee on throat. In the safe. Tools, tapes. But you die first. Aisha surged up, grabbing a pipe from the ground, swinging hard. Crack on Carl's back. He roared, releasing Alexander, whirling on her. Black bitch! Evelyn warned about you. He lunged, hands choking her neck, vision spotting black. Alexander staggered up, tackling again, all three crashing into crates. Wood splintered, tools spilling, wire cutters stained, brake fluid bottles. Got you! Aisha wheezed, snatching cutters, tossing to Alexander. He held them high. These match the crash report. Carl headbutted Alexander, blood flowing, grabbing for his gun across the floor. Die! Helen burst in, door slamming, gun raised, face steel. Freeze! Javier called. I tailed you fools. Carl froze, eyes darting. Aunt Helen? No. Elizabeth's mom, you scum. Helen advanced, steady. I heard it all. Taped on phone. Aisha coughed, standing, ribs screaming. Safe! Open it! Alexander kicked Carl down, Helen cuffing him with zip ties from her purse. Prepared fury. They pried the safe. Tapes inside. Evelyn and Carl plotting, cut brakes clean. Accident looks good. Forge will after. Videos. Carl tampering with the car. Evelyn watching. Bank stubs. Millions diverted. Alexander's hands shook, pocketing evidence. Undeniable. Murder. Theft. All. Cops swarmed in, Javier leading. Got your call, Helen. Clean sweep. Carl spat blood. You'll rot, too. Deeper ties in the force. But Helen smashed his phone, ending the threats. Over. They escaped the warehouse, evidence bagged. Aisha leaning on Alexander, ribs bound quickly by paramedics. Helen drove them home, Lily waiting wide-eyed. We got them. Elizabeth's justice. Aisha clutched the tapes, resolve iron. Final nail. Court tomorrow. Expose full. Alexander nodded, jaw swollen. Together, we end this web. But Carl's last glare burned, hinting at remnants, evidence of their shield for the ultimate takedown ahead. You think papers bury me? I'll bury you deeper. Evelyn howled from the courtroom stand, chains rattling as she lunged against the bailiff's hold, her face twisted feral, eyes locked on Aisha like daggers. The gallery gasped, judge's gavel cracking wood, but Aisha stood unflinching at the witness box, clutching the flash drive tight, her ribs still aching from Carl's kick. Bloodied forehead, bandaged but gaze steel. Alexander rose from the plaintiff's bench, voice booming. Play the tape, now! The prosecutor nodded, clicking the projector. Evelyn's voice filled the room, crackling from the warehouse recording. I cut the brakes. Elizabeth deserved it. Nosy, cutting me out. Evelyn's scream pierced. Lies, doctored. That black witch faked it. The judge hammered again. Order, defendant, sit. Aisha's turn, stepping forward, voice cutting clean. Not faked. You confessed. Greed drove you. Killed my friend for cash. Forged her will to erase me. Evelyn spat, leaning over the rail. Friend? Elizabeth pitied you. Gutter trash, thinking you're guardian material. I ran that house, deserved the estate. Alexander charged the stand, fist balled. You murdered my wife. Siphoned millions with your brother. Tapes prove it. Bailiffs yanked him back, but the projector rolled on. Carl's confession. Evelyn planned the crash. Tampered brakes after confrontation. Forged docs to steal. The gallery erupted, flashes popping from the press row. Evelyn collapsed to her knees, wailing. No! Deeper players. Cops on take. They'll silence you. Judge's eyes narrowed. Evidence admitted. Jury. Review. Aisha locked eyes with Evelyn, stepping closer. Deeper? Your brother's cuffed too. Spilled everything. Tools match the brakes. Banks trace your thefts. Elizabeth's video seals it. Naming me guardian. You thief. Evelyn's face crumpled, tears streaking. I snapped. She threatened to fire me after years. Victor pushed, but I cut the lines. Deserved my share. Gasps rippled, the judge slamming the gavel. Confession noted. Bailiffs, remove her. Alexander grabbed Aisha's hand, squeezed fiercely. It's done, exposed full. But Evelyn twisted free one arm, pointing claw-like. You'll pay. Connections run deep. Cops swarmed, hauling her out kicking, doors slamming shut on her screams. Jury filed out, but verdict flashed quick. Guilty on all. Murder, forgery, embezzlement. Aisha exhaled sharply, ribs protesting, turning to Alexander. Elizabeth's justice. Finally. He nodded, pulling Lily from Helen's arms in the back row, hugging her tight. And ours. No more shadows. Press mobbed them outside. Flashes blinding. Alexander faced cams. Truth out. My wife's killers rot. Estate reforms. Charity as she willed. Aisha stood beside, chin high. For Brooklyn kids, like she wanted, Helen whispered. Deeper players. Bluff. Her last gasp. They drove home, evidence boxed for archives. Evelyn's empire crumbled, but an anonymous note slipped under the door later. Not over. Chill gripped, but unity forged, ready for any remnant storm brewing. Rot in hell, you and your thieving blood! Evelyn wailed from the courtroom floor, bailiffs yanking her up by chained arms, her face contorted in defeat as the judge's gavel smashed down. Verdict ringing final. Aisha stood rigid at the witness rail, ribs still bruised from Carl's boot, but satisfaction burned hot in her chest, watching Evelyn's empire shatter. Alexander surged forward, grabbing the rail. Justice! For Elizabeth! You pay now! Life behind bars! Evelyn twisted, spitting fury. Justice? You blind fool! Your wife's meddling sealed her fate. I cut those brakes clean. Gasps ripped through the gallery, but the judge barked. Enough! Guilty, murder one, forgery and embezzlement. Life without parole. Carl, cuffed beside, slumped, head bowed. Sis dragged me in. Debts choked us. But brakes? Her hands. The prosecutor nodded sharply. Evidence seals, tapes, tools, banks. Full restitution, estate clawed back. Isha's voice cut through. And the will? Restore it. Elizabeth's real one. Judge's nod firm. Granted. Isha Thompson, co-guardian. Charity funds released. Evelyn lunged again, chains snapping taut. Guardian! That black intruder steals my legacy. Bailiffs hauled her back, knees dragging. Legacy! You stole lives! Aisha shot, fist clenched. Alexander's hand gripped Aisha's shoulder, squeezed fiercely. Over. They rot. Trial's done. Cops escorted the siblings out, Evelyn's screams fading down the hall. Deeper players. They'll avenge. But investigations close loops. Carl's deeper bluff. Just empty threats from a broken man. No accomplices surfaced. Ledger's clean now. Aisha exhaled, turning to Helen in the seats, tears streaking the old woman's face. Elizabeth sees this, from above. Helen hugged her tight. You fought, won her peace. Alexander pulled Lily close, the girl burying her face in his leg. Bad people gone, Daddy? Gone forever, he murmured, lifting her. Court emptied, press swarming outside. But they pushed through, statements clipped. Truth prevails, family endures. Back home, estate papers reshuffled, funds flowing to Brooklyn charities, Evelyn's name erased from records. Aisha signed guardianship docs, pen steady, ribs easing with each breath. Justice clamped down, knots untied, wounds bandaged tight. Yet Lily's small hand in hers stirred forward pull, legacy demanding rebuild beyond bars. Millions stolen! Now millions given back, you blind bastard! A donor shouted from the crowd at the charity gala. But Alexander ignored the jab, stepping to the podium, grip iron on the mic as flashbulbs popped like gunfire. Aisha stood beside, ribs healed but memory sharp, her hand slipping into his for strength. Lily clutching her skirt, eyes wide at the sea of suits. This fund, Elizabeth Hayes Memorial, starts with 10 million, Alexander declared, voice booming, for Brooklyn kids, education, health, like my wife dreamed. No more blind eyes to suffering. Applause thundered, but he pressed on. I failed, buried in deals while thieves struck home. Evelyn, Carl, jailed for life, but my atonement, presence, time, here. Aisha nodded subtly, stepping forward. An action, clinics in the hood, scholarships for divorced moms scraping by. Like me once. Donors surged, checks waving. Match it, one yelled. Alexander doubled down. I match every dollar, 20 million total. Backstage, Helen hugged Lily tight. Your mom's legacy? Alive. Alexander pulled Aisha aside, breath close. Not enough. Boardrooms? Cut in half. Mornings with Lily. Pancakes, stories. You teach me remedies. She squeezed his hand. Start now. Volunteer shift tomorrow. Brooklyn Center. He nodded fiercely. Done. And you, co-guardian official. House yours too. They drove to Brooklyn, Alexander ditching the suit for jeans, rolling sleeves at the community kitchen, ladling soup to lines of faces like Aisha's past. Here, extra bread, he said to a mom with twins, her eyes suspicious then softening. Aisha worked beside, stirring pots, ribs twinge forgotten. See? Presence heals. Kids swarmed Lily, playing tag in the yard. Alexander joined, chasing laughs, sweat beading, ego shed. Daddy funny, Lily giggled, hugging his leg. Evening shifted. Family dinners, no phones. Alexander read bedtime tales, voice stumbling at first, Aisha guiding. Softer. Feel the words. He funded more. Job training for ex-domestics, anti-discrimination workshops in mansions like his. Staff retrained, no whispers tolerated. One night, Aisha found him in the study, signing charity deeds. Why big, she asked. Guilt burns. Your blood on my hands, Elizabeth's on theirs. This cleanses. She touched his cheek. And us? Family now. He pulled her close, his kiss fierce. Forever. Helen visited, bearing Elizabeth's old quilt. She'd approve. Your quai from stolen funds, rebuilding lives. Alexander hosted galas monthly, millions pouring in, Brooklyn transforming, clinics rising, kids in classes. He volunteered weekly, hands calloused from labor, ego humbled. Aisha led programs, her story inspiring. From fired maid to force, fight back. Lily thrived, calling them Mama Aisha, Daddy Fix It. Wounds scarred over, hope blooming fierce. Yet anonymous notes ceased, peace settling. Alexander's final act, renamed charity, Aisha's anchor, for the one who stayed. They stood at a ribbon cutting, scissors sharp, crowd cheering. Cut, Aisha commanded, tape snapping, future unfurling bright. Legacy built on blood washed clean, Alexander declared at the charity's first anniversary bash, raising a glass high, the crowd erupting in cheers as balloons popped like victory shots. Aisha stood center stage, Lily perched on her hip, the girls' giggles cutting through the roar, her small hand waving a ribbon from the new Brooklyn clinic named after Elizabeth. Alexander pulled them close, kissing Aisha's forehead, voice dropping low. 1 year, no shadows. You made this home. Aisha's eyes glistened, ribs long healed, strength radiating. We did, together. Elizabeth's will be alive, funds flowing, kids thriving. Flashback hit hard. Post-trial, they rebuilt. Alexander slashing work hours, mornings devoted to Lily's laughter over oatmeal baths. Aisha mixed, herbs scenting the air like peace. He volunteered at centers, hands dirty in gardens, teaching finance to teens from streets like Aisha's old hood. Nights shifted, family stories under quilts, Helen visiting weekly, sharing Elizabeth's old letters. She'd beam, seeing you two as one, Helen whispered one evening, handing a photo album. College snaps of Elizabeth and Aisha, now including new pages. Wedding shots, Alexander and Aisha exchanging vows in Central Park. Lily as flower girl, petals scattering, honeymoons skipped for charity drives. Alexander funding scholarships, Aisha leading workshops on resilience. Her divorce scars turned lessons. Rise from pushes, she told groups, elbow scar faint but a reminder. Lily bloomed, calling Mama Aisha freely, Daddy with hugs that melted his old ice. Playdates in Brooklyn, mixing mansion kids with street ones, breaking barriers Alexander once built. One dawn, Alexander found Aisha in the study, staring at Evelyn's mugshot clipping. Jailed for life. Carl, too. No deeper threat surfaced. She nodded, burning the paper in the fireplace. Clean slate, but lesson: families chosen, loyalty over blood. He knelt, ring box open, upgrade diamond. Marry me again? Vow presence eternal. Tears fell, but she laughed, slipping it on. Already did, but yes, for us. Community transformed, clinics buzzing, kids in classes, Aisha's programs empowering moms like her past self. Alexander's empire pivoted. Ethical tech, profits to causes. Boardrooms echoed with family first, his mantra. Helen hosted reunions, toasting. Elizabeth's heart beats here in your bond. Lily drew pictures. My family strong. Hung on the walls, the colors are vivid. Challenges lingered. Press digs on past scandals, but they faced head-on. Interviews raw. Mistakes forged us, Alexander admitted on air. Aisha taught forgiveness, strength in care. Aisha added, divide by color, class, crumbles. Unite in love, endures. Final scene, picnic under Central Park Oaks. Lily chasing butterflies. Alexander and Aisha lounging on Elizabeth's quilt. Happy, he asked. Beyond, she replied, hand on belly, new life stirring, secret shared. Legacy grows. He kissed her deeply. Lesson learned. Blind pride destroys. Open eyes build empires of the heart. Helen joined, bearing a cake. To chosen family, unbreakable. Lily ran back, hugging all. Love you, forever. As the sun dipped, they packed. Walking home arm in arm, city lights twinkling promise. Wounds healed, truths embraced, future bright, love's triumph over betrayals dark. Moral etched deep, family defies blood, forged in loyalty, compassion trumping prejudice. Heal through action, presence mending divides, turning pain to purpose eternal. Justice demands vigilance, but hope blooms in forgiveness, rebuilding stronger. Elizabeth's spirit whispered approval, guiding their steps forward. In the end, this story reminds us that true family isn't defined by blood or wealth, but by unwavering loyalty, love, and the courage to stand against injustice, turning pain into healing and purpose. What do you think? Have you ever overcome prejudice or found family in unexpected places? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.